Hey guys, Pete from Roadhouse Auctions. I'm just going to do a little video today in regards to signs. I'm a passionate collector, as you can see if you have a look around here. This is our showroom. A lot of the stuff on display is actually my own items, just to dress the place up and make it all feel like a man shed or a man cave, if you want to call it that. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a video today in regards to just how you tell the difference between certain signs and certain values for certain reasons. So it could be, are they enamel? Are they screen print? Are they double-sided? Are they fake? All that sort of stuff. I mean, a lot of people just don't know. And quite often I get messages from people where they're saying, what do you think of this? Is it real? Is it not? So when we look at these signs, if you come over here, I mean, you've got all the enamel signs that, and you look at this one here and you sort of think, oh, it feels good and whatever. This one probably feels a little bit heavy to me. Again, I had to do a double take when I saw this particular sign, because it's great enamel, great embossing on the enamel as well. You can feel the, the contours of the item that they're displaying, which is that shell tin, for example, and the clam. But on the back, what caught me was that you don't often see bleeding of the enamel to the back of the sign on your reproduction signs. So this one's a really early reproduction, but how do we know it's reproduction? Well, it's because Shell didn't actually make a sign in this exact size. They did make that style, but it's actually a little bit bigger. So that sort of gives you an idea of that. When you look at these ones here, there's another reproduction one here, for example. Again, we know they weren't made in that size, so it comes down to knowing what you're looking at and having the experience, I suppose, in other signs and things like that. Then you've got your run-of-the-mill ones that you see at the markets and things like that, where people pay money for stuff like this. You see shiny and tin, embossing even. It doesn't mean it's a real sign. This one here, it actually states on it that it's been made. Okay, so bit of a no-brainer. And then you've got the other tricky ones too, where golden fleece sign here, it's got a little hole cut up here and whatever, but that's actually made from a drum. So it's not really a sign. So all little things to be careful of. But as far as values go, your enamel signs aren't necessarily more value than a screen print sign. It comes down to the rarity. Have you seen one sell for a certain price? And that sort of sets the tone for the market. So when you get to something like your South British Insurance sign here, when it's got the maker's name on it down here, and we know this is original, this sign, given if you look at the chips and the colours underneath the chips, it's going to show you the metal. And when you see the metal, different. It's hard to explain, but when you experience a different shade of that rust is going to be taken into account when we work out whether something's fake or it's not fake or made up. And then, obviously you've got another one here, and it doesn't have a maker's name on it, but at the same time, these signs are well known, they are around, you can compare them to other ones on the market. You're looking at your sizing compared to the other ones, it's exactly the same. So little variances in size, little variances in the way they've made them, the lettering, if it's not right, the spacing in the lettering, and you'd be surprised how many times a week we have this conversation with somebody about whether the sign that they're holding and they're showing me on a photo is real or not real. And we want them to be real. We don't really like fake signs, but they are around and it's worthwhile knowing. Then you've also got your screen print signs. So again, I'm using the three British insurance company signs because they're a good comparison for each other, but you don't often see screen print in this particular sign. But as you can see, you've got scratches in this one rather than chips. So when you see the scratches, I mean, it's just it's scratches in the paint, whereas enamel, you can get scratches, but you'll also more than often, you'll find a chip on a sign, unless it's never been hung on a wall, because they are brittle when you're putting the screws in and things like that. So, I mean, then you've got the other area where you've got your embossed signs, which is like your shell sign up here, or your flat sign like the Castrol one. So again, when you look at these signs, very rare to see the larger signs copied and faked, okay? Because a lot of work would have to go into them for the people in India or wherever they might make those signs to then ship them out here and whatnot. So you've got these big signs. I mean, the values on these signs can vary. You've got two of them in the room here. They're not for sale, but if you look at the condition of this one here versus the condition of the one over this side, you can obviously, this one here would command a higher price simply because it's just in better condition. And condition always comes down to, how was it when it came from the factory? Was it, is it as close as it was when it came to the factory? But then the other thing that drives these prices too is that rare doesn't always mean valuable, okay? Because you've got certain collecting areas where, like for example, golden fleece signs, you've got a big population of people here who collect golden fleece, where they may not collect other certain brands that, you know, might be a lot rarer to see a certain sign or a tin. I've got a Pen Rad sign at home. I don't think it's worth a lot of money, but it's, you know, a rarer sign than a lot of the signs you're seeing in this room. It's just that the collectors aren't there to boost that particular value up. So yeah, and then again, like I said, condition comes down to everything. You've got natural shine on the signs, or you know, have they got you know, issues on them? Are they common? Are they not common? So there's a few in here that, you know, they are sought after, and then there's a few in here that, you know, they're standard sort of run-of-the-mill signs. I mean, I don't mind either one. I mean, to me, sign's a sign, dresses up the place, and they've all got a little story to tell, haven't they? So yeah, anyway, just a little bit of an educational video, like I said, to make you aware, I suppose, if you're looking at signs and, you know, what to look out for. We are on tap if you wanted to give us a call and, you know, find out, you know, if you've got something there that you're not sure about, rather than you know, do your backside on, you know, spending money on a sign that's not worth it. A simple phone call. There's help out there to, you know, because we don't know. We've got people we can rely on, plenty of them, and they know what they're doing. They know what they're saying. I mean, you know, I've had a couple of signs which I was going to put to auction in here, and I've had, you know, advice from collectors that no, it's not right, and the conversation always turns back to, okay, why is it not right? Figure that out, let the vendor know, and then, you know, take the appropriate action. So we don't want to be selling any signs in here that are advertised as real when they're not. And we will certainly be selling, you know, some you know, reproduction signs, but you will know that from the description, and you'll know it pretty quick. It's always explained straight up front. So yeah, so anyway, I hope the video is helpful to give you an idea of yeah, what you should be looking for when you're looking at this sort of gear, and yeah, all the best. Thank you.